So
Yeah.
it's actually
Can
cool
you
to
guys,
create.
can you guys see the screen?
Yeah,
Awesome. So I'm just opening the source file of the game. So to give an idea like how it you can just it's kind of like a drag and drop. Maybe I think it is easy because I've been using it for a lot of time. But
mm,
uh, if you're already good with Blender, I think Unreal Engine can be a little tricky. But I think at the end you will learn it a lot. Yeah. This is the whole area of the game itself. So let's, for example, if you go uh, to the Nakamoto here, so you can see that. Let me actually. I've added music there, so that's why it's just playing music there. So
that's so
uh,
cool.
right now, to make it more realistic. You have to like do some settings. For example, oh, I'll just give you another example. So this is like you'll be only able to play it here, but if you go down here, it's nothing. You can't go down here, so you can just hide stuff which you don't want to see. Don't want to see it. So you just use Blender to create this 3D structures. If you want to like move it, you can just move it wherever you want. So so this is the whole game landscape itself. So this is a meme factory here. The first meme factory was not like this, so it was like very basic one. Then added a lot of elements in the top of the meme factory here. And yeah, I think if you want to build a game, you can just build a game forever. So my concept was actually just to build it and just ship it out, and then gather feedback from the community, and then improve or do whatever you want from that point.
And it's currently waiting to be approved on Steam. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've uploaded the game in Steam. So the first time when I released the Meme Factory game, what I did is that I just gave the whole source file where anyone can just download it and use it. But I think with Web3, what happens is that I was still skeptical because you can't just download any programs in online in the Web3 space because a lot of scams and there is no trustworthy site. So that's why I had to pivot to a trustworthy site like Steam, where most of the games, like it's one of the top distribution service games where you can upload your game and they will do the due diligence, and then anyone can download from their system. So I did apply to it. The process that there is a lot of back end process to actually apply for it, and there are a lot of things we have to update it. And I did update it, upload the final file in April 8th, and I'm just waiting for them to get it approved so that anyone can play the game. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
geeking
that's
out so much right now, that's why I'm staying on mute.
feel free to jump in if you've got a question, Scobel.
Well, it's like, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like when you see that kind of little demo, and if you've never really used Unreal Engine or Blender, you probably are, this looks cool, but you don't kind of realize what's going on. And now that I've, spent a lot of time in those two programs, I kind of know how the sausage is made. And in this case, it's not like one of those negative things. It's like, man, it's so cool to see someone take this, like, this message, this cultural thing that's happening, and creatively come up with a way to like bring it to more people through interaction. And it's really cool. And by the way, it looks, I mean, incredible quality. Like even just like the 3D models and stuff that you've brought in, it must be, a lot of work for you. So I'm excited. I already have some ideas of maybe how I could contribute in some way to this, but it's really cool. And I maybe my question, if I could just sneak one in, Ellen, is just like, what's your background? Like, is this a recent thing that you've done in terms of learning Blender, Unreal? Did you learn one before the other, or is this something that you've been at for a long time? I'm curious how you got to this point.
Oh, so I have been a designer for the past 8 9 years, but the Blender thing it was recent actually, and the Unreal Engine I just learned it within like 2 weeks or something like that. So I just so what happened is that so I was looking into the memes and stuff like that, and I looked at the meme factory, and I thought maybe why not have like a 3D environment of it. So it was just a spark and just an idea which I wanted to see if it kind of works. And I spent the next. So I researched what should I do, what kind of games should I do. So the my main motive was to bring it as much as realistic as possible. So then it seems that Unreal Engine is the only way in the game environment where it brings the realness of like how it will, because most of the games if you're looking into it it's like more 2D or not unrealistic, but with Unreal Engine you can actually make it more realistic as possible. So that's when I decided to just go and do it and just learn on the go itself, so with the Unreal Engine itself. So yeah.
I mean, that's wild that you pick that up that quick. Yeah, that's impressive. And it goes to show you that, I think that is like a personal value of mine, someone who says like, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I have an idea and I have to scratch that itch. Like I've got to figure out a way to make it real. And all that's in front of you is like a piece of software and a lot of YouTube videos and a manual and, you know, whatever else you're using to learn that. And you didn't let that get in the way of it. You were just like, I'm going to use this tool to make this thing come to life that I wanted. And that's like an incredible, in my book, that's an incredible quality. And I mean, it's going to serve you very well, like in this space and beyond, that you have that attitude. So kudos to you, man. It's really, really cool.
Thanks, Cowboy. But trust me, I did watch a lot of YouTube videos to get this thing get going. It's more of like a trial and error, and I think if I what do you say? If I have to do it from scratch, I think I would do a lot of things in a different way, because I learned a lot of uh, like optimizations and a lot of things during this process. So I think I'll be learning a lot of things when while you're doing it. So even my design career as a freelancer, I just did it on the spot. Just learned in YouTube 8 9 years ago, and then started working on it. And after a year or two, I then joined a class to actually learn design in a what do you say typical manner. But it seems that I've already learned while doing it and stuff, because once I went to the class, it seems that everything they taught me was like I already knew it. So it seems like that just go in and doing it is much more easier to do it, and you get things done right away as well. So you don't have this mentality that I have to go to a class, learn it in a proper way and just do it. I think that's why, like, that's how I've been from the start. So I think that has helped me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
these days as well with YouTube and stuff, there's so much you can do without going to a class, and you can choose things that fit what you want to do rather than being in a class with 20 other people and just doing what you're told.
Classes are fun when I think one of the aspects while you trying to learn individually in YouTube is that you don't have any guidance or anything. Let's say I have some issues, that there'll be no one to ask it to, but still you have forums to ask. I think I went to a lot of forums to, like, I had a lot of issues like how to counter that, how to make this possible or something like that. But still I think if you're able to combine learning online in YouTube and having a group of people in some other way, that would be much more. I think that would be a perfect fit for a learning environment actually.
yeah. It's like they say this in programming too, right? It's like have a project that you want to complete. That gives you kind of the motivation to keep learning, and then sometimes like I feel like you want to kind of go into these things with a little bit of naivety, like you want to be almost like not realize all of the things that you need to do and learn to be able to do it. And then once you've kind of got that traction, then you really wish you could go and sit down on a proper course. Like I'm sure you're learning. It's like the creative part of this is, I don't want to say it's the easy part, but it's one thing to get it running, but it's another thing to optimize it and have it running on different computers and different, processing power, and make sure, like, there's all that technical stuff is really the hard part. And it's almost like you got to get it up, get it started before you learn that, or else you'll probably never have the momentum to get through.
Yep, I agree, Scobble, because at the end, when I finished the game, the last bit was the technical part that I have to optimize it as much as possible so that even a low configuration system can actually run it. So that was like a very challenging part that I have to learn. The last 5 to 10% was like the most learning part for me.
So kind of linked to this topic and spinning off of Scobel's question about how long you've sort of been into this, you're actually a geologist by trade, for lack of a better word. Is that right?
Yeah, I did my bachelor's and master's in geology, but even when I was in my bachelor's, that's when I got into designing, where I used to do part time work to fund my degree. And that's when I came into design. So my career is like a not a particular one way street. It's been like a four-way street where I've been like doing a lot of stuff with social media, design, and geology. I actually love geology because it's a study about earth and nature. I took after my schooling, I took a 1 year gap to just to decide what I want to do in my masters, like my further educational qualifications thing. So I love geology, and because earth is fascinating to me, nature is fascinating to me, and it always resonates with me because we are in nature. So I think learning more about nature actually interests me as well.
There's also some pretty crazy artistic patterns and things in nature and in geology. I think I mentioned to you in one of our chats that being at Mount Vesuvius, I got some really cool photos of the way that over time the pressure of the volcano just being around it has shattered the rocks in these crazy abstract patterns. And I was like, it's one of the things one of the nature things I've seen that has always stuck in my head and just really blew me away. Um, so I think there's a cool connection there.
Yeah, yeah, nature is so amazing. I think most of our modern innovations, or actually a lot of things, are based upon nature. Like for example, the bullet trains, or the shape of the bullet trains are like based upon a bird's beak. So inspired from the nature. A lot of innovations are actually inspired from nature. So, and even all the physics theory and everything is an observation of nature. So there isn't anything that we it was created newly. Everything we see is like observation from the existing nature itself. So that's how I see it as well.
And just recently found out that you created a Facebook page around minerals and the love of geology. I was actually checking it out yesterday, and some of the photos of those mineral rocks are incredible.
Yeah, so that the page which I started, Geology Love, is also started when I was in my undergraduate, and I was so passionate about minerals where I wanted to share the beauty of minerals to other people as well. So that's why I started the page, and I've been like doing it for the past 6 7 years, and it has become like one of the top Facebook social media accounts when it comes to minerals. So the and this has also helped me to have connections with people around the world as well, because I've been able to talk with teachers, parents who are interested in geology, where they wanted to take their kids out for some rock hounding, and teachers who wanted to know more about minerals so that they can teach to their students there. So um, in Australia, US, Germany. They're like all around the world. The people are like there are a lot of people who are interested in the minerals and geology. So the page actually helped me to connect with a lot of like-minded individuals, and yeah. So it has been a very interesting journey with the page as well.
Yeah, I've just got it up now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm just the patterns and colors. I mean, I don't think I realized how cool these things could be.
So
Some of these
there are,
photos could actually be NFTs. Like, look at this. Look at that one.
yep, that's a tourmaline. So yeah, there are a lot of minerals which are like so amazing, and the structures, the crystal structures, and it just fascinates me every time I see a mineral or crystal. So amazing, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about my login
And
block. I don't actually have Facebook.
also Scobel, I think minerals can be a tricky in taking photographs because of their crystal structure, how they transmit light. So there are I think I have known a few photographers who are like specialized in mineral photography, and I have personally known that it's very tricky to actually create these pictures because uh, the the minerals show different colors with different kinds of lights as well. So
It'd be a challenge for you, Scobel, to get some 3D renders of these amazing minerals.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was watching some, luckily the fossils that I did were all, very matte or very rough, like there's no reflection. But as soon as you try to have reflections like that, I mean, not even complex reflections, which those minerals are probably all sorts of light reflections that are way more complicated than, normal reflection. But yeah, I've seen some tools where people will spray, like you could probably spray the mineral with like almost like a solution that would make it scannable, so you get the shape of it, so you get the physical shape, and then you probably have to recreate the which would be interesting even like for you, like how to recreate the material of the mineral, and whether there's actual physical properties that you could bring into, a tool like Blender, or even with Unreal Engine. I saw has a recent update where they're doing some interest. I saw there was one where it was like a topaz car or something that they were
yeah, yeah.
showing the differences. Yeah, so maybe it's a combination of the physical shape and procedural texture, because I don't think you could scan that stuff. I don't know how you would even start.
Yeah, so the minerals are classified based on the crystal system. So how they arrange inside the crystals. So that's how the light also passes through, and the other physical properties like transparency, and how the brittle they are. There are a lot of many physical properties with minerals, and it will be a very complicated thing to bring a mineral inside. I think it would be much more better to just create one in Blender from the scratch itself, instead of just taking photographs or creating a model itself. So but it will be a very complicated thing to bring a mineral inside a 3D environment, to recreate it.
Sounds like a future challenge for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, to switch, I'll come back to this if you still want to talk about it, but just to kind of switch gears, something popped in my head. Um, even when you're developing your game, like obviously, version one or the MVP, you already said it. You could develop forever. You eventually have to ship it, and then see what the community thinks, and then adapt from there. But had you thought about any Web3 integration, or do you see Web3 tools as a part of this experience at any point?
Yeah, so the one thing is that my experiment with this was is to bring a real life experience of engaging with memes. So the first part I wanted to try is just ship it out and just see what it happens. So interesting thing with the Steam upload is that they don't actually allow blockchain interactions with the game. So that was kind of like a tricky way. That's why I avoided any blockchain interactions within the game itself. But what I think possibly what I'll be doing is that kind of like a recreate the game itself in an on cyber or other metaverse environment. But the thing is that I don't think we can bring the same realistic look because as you said in on cyber any other metaverse integrations, you have to like dumb down the graphical quality. It should be like a basic plain, like a simple color, no complex colors mostly. You can't bring the realistic view, but you can just interact with the game itself. So that's kind of like a thought I'm into, but it all depends upon how Steam is um, if Steam is allowing the game to go on. I just have to then recreate it. Like depends upon how it. So I don't have a particular solution on how it goes because this is still an experiment to see how people are. Let's say if even if Steam is allowing the game and not many people are using it, then I have to eventually just do like an online metaverse version in an on cyber or other services where you can play in online and stuff. Did that answer your
Yeah,
question, Pavel?
no, it did. It did. Well, it did, and it also highlights a little bit of the challenge that we're up against, which is you have these two things kind of running in parallel, which is the game distributors are afraid of the blockchain more for probably the crypto side and what can be done within a crypto embedded game and sort of all those like weird things that could happen there versus like an NFT or like a Web3 ability or integration. It seems like that's not kind of figured out yet. And I guess I'd be curious, and maybe you have done some research. What some of like I know obviously there's what's the Bored Apes game that they're working on. That's
DoorDash,
recent, right?
yeah,
Dookie
the
Dash.
online Dookie Dash, yeah.
Yeah, there was another one though, wasn't there? Didn't they? Don't they have like a 3D environment game that they were working on? I don't know if they ever demoed it. I thought I heard someone say that they did, but um, yeah, like they would be the ones that I think would be interesting to follow because they have a lot of money and they obviously are
Yeah.
heavily invested in how to integrate their on-chain assets into a standard video game, right?
So are you talking about the other side demo which they have been doing
Maybe
it?
that's it. Maybe that's the one I'm
Not.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the main part is that you have to have a lot of money to actually even if you want to run the level of graphics they want to do it in the back end. So for example, that's why I kind of like did it as a game where anyone can install it, and the quality of the game depends upon the system they use it. But with other side, what they're doing is that they actually run all, like let's say I have a 4090 in my system, and they should have a scaling system where they have like hundreds of 200s of 4090s in their backend, so that they can actually run the game where anyone can just play it in their browser. So I think a lot of money will be needed for them to do it. So that's why I didn't go do it that way at first, because it's kind of like a more intensive from my side to do it, and I don't think I'll be able to. Even if I do it, I just have to, maybe only one of the players will be able to play it. So that's how it will be even if I do it. So um, I think a lot of
Yeah.
if they are able to invest in a lot of money, I think they can do it. But I don't think it in a long way that is going to be sustainable way for them, because they'll be like churning a lot of money to just play a game. That's why
Hopefully, yeah.
most of the games are just desktop games where you have to download hundreds of GBs of the game and just download in your own system.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, Sorry, Ellen, we went off the technical deep end again. That's my fault.
No,
We
no,
rein it
not at
back in.
all. Well, just along that same line, I don't know a great deal about it, but I don't know if you guys have heard of Flame, the platform Flame. They claim to be like the Steam for Web3.
Oh, no, I haven't heard about it. Maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, I've got the link here. One of the other um, games that I was involved in got put onto that platform, so it might be something that could be a next step or an alternative. I think they're still quite small, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I
trying to
hope
do
that
something.
my kind of hope might be that somebody scratches their own itch again, right? Where it's like maybe someone releases, creates a game that's based on some Web3 product. Maybe it's Yuga Labs or someone else. And then once that's successful, they release the platform or the tools for other people who don't have the budget and the team to do that to come in and make an experience, right? And that would be a great outcome. I mean, something like on cyber, but maybe more geared for interactive, higher quality experiences in the browser, would be really cool. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting. There's another person, by the way. Side note is Frank Wilder, who's in the Discord, who dropped in here. Him and his team are building another incredible Web3 experience game that they've been at for like 3 years on Unreal. So even if you haven't seen that one, Wilder World is a really cool, fully Web3 based interactive game that they're working on now. So not an easy problem to solve for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's not an easy problem. I agree. I'll look into Flame. Thanks, Alan. I'll be looking into it.
Ellen, you can't drop links in when I'm like go click on that. Now I'm like distracted by that Web3 link. Well, if you do it, I think don't want to spoil it, but I think me and you have to sit down at some point and come up with how we're going to implement the actual legit meme bus into this experience. Maybe that's a future update. We can mint something on Meme Lab together and then add it into the game. That's where my brain's going. So me and you will talk offline.
Sure, sure. I actually do have the bus in the game. I'm not sure if you have seen it, but you just can't drive it right now. I think.
Yeah.
I Yeah. So probably I think that's why I didn't want to go in just as I said. I can just develop this game forever and ever, and then
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
ship it. So that's why I just wanted to just ship it out and see what process I have to go through it. Because I expected that there'll be some hurdles when releasing the game, so that's why I didn't fully finish it. I just maybe there'll be a little bugs or something like that, but I just wanted to just finish it and see what hurdles I'm doing it, and then just learn the process and then kind of like learn from it and just improve from that point of time. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's typically how all VWs are, right? Right, Scobel? They just don't run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That should be the actual game, is the bus should be buried in the corner somewhere, with the engine not working, and you just never actually get to drive it. That would be very appropriate for a 60s Volkswagen bus.
Interesting fact. I have seen the real life bus in my area here once. So that was interesting to see the same model. So
Sorry, did you find that your background in graphic design and design in general, like I kind of see it in what you built, but I'm curious how much that came into play when it came to actually developing this game.
So I think my background in design, like I've been doing as a freelancer for the past 7 8 years, doing branding, doing some illustrations for brands and for packaging and stuff like that. So I believe I have a keen for design. So I think that's why it was easy for me to pick it up and just like go through it. Um, um, and design has been, I think, Me personally, I think there are few skills which you think naturally comes, but you don't want to pursue it. So there are, I don't know if you have any skills which you think that some people would think that okay, you need a lot of what do you say? There are like a few talents which comes naturally, but I don't think you would pursue it. And a lot of times, like you're not interested more into it. I did do freelancing as a branding, but after like 5 6 years, then I was like, I did do it, but I stopped getting, I stopped getting client. Like I didn't want to work anymore and just like focus on it, because I also have a high myopia. So I wanted to get out of not using computers a lot of time. But it seems that after coming with the 3D, and again I have to do a lot of computer work, seeing the screens most of the time itself. So um, it's kind of like a yin yang where I just go in and go out. That's how I've been for in my career side.
What about the, and this is my last question, and then Ellen, if you have more, you can, I'll hand it to you. Um, what about, because the trailer itself was incredible, and that's the one that's linked on the side. So if you haven't watched it, jump in. We'll obviously share it and stuff. Did you do the trailer and the editing and the video and the camera movement, all that stuff yourself? Did you have to get some help?
Yeah,
Like how did that come about?
yeah, I did it myself, so I didn't
You did it yourself,
have.
dude.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, so I just thought maybe
Yeah.
we have to do a trailer for the game, because that was a requirement for the Steam as well. So that's why I did a trailer. It's not just for the showing it. So they had a requirement, you have to give a trailer for the game. So I thought, I just like looked into music. So first thing I wanted to have is like a music, kind of like an epic intro for the game. So then I kind of like thought about what kind of shots what I want to do, and then I just did all the shots, camera movement, and everything inside Unreal Engine stuff. And I imported into Premiere Pro, and then just like stitched it and just like exported it. Yep.
That's
And
wild. I mean, it's wild. Go ahead, Ellen. I'm blown away.
I was going to say, actually, that musical score has already got a bit of a life of its own. Like I keep seeing it get mentioned in the OM chat, and people have used it in their rememes. So it's already part of the meme lore, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like spicing it up. I think more community members should actually do a lot of more fun stuff. So it kind of like helps it grow the meme part of the NFT itself. As I said, it's not just the meme part. It's about like educating people through memes. Probably that's how I would see it. Where you just share memes, and then it kind of like became. Uh, thing where okay, whenever someone shares that, it means something. Like let's say someone shares a meme with freedom to transact, it means something, where it's about like we should have a freedom to transact itself. Yeah. So
So the last thing that I just wanted to mention quickly before we sort of take any questions and wrap it up is you have a founder's pass for people who want to help support the game. What's that sort of entail?
So as I said, the first like the first MVP which I did with the Meme Factory, that's a maximum I could do with my old system. So I didn't have a good PC to actually build the full game itself. So that was another thing which I really liked, is that once the community liked it, so I thought maybe let's put an NFT and see if people wanted to, if there is any interest to actually build it more further. So I just wanted to have the hardware capabilities to actually accomplish it, because I'm here to do it. It's just that I didn't have the system to actually accomplish it. So once I think the first time it made around 200 minutes, I was like happy. I just, the first thing which I did is that I bought a new PC for the full amount, and just like right now that's on. I want to complete the game, so I just right now just like finish the complete the game. But I think with the founders pass. I want to give a meaning that it's kind of like I think the U.S. had their founding fathers for creating a new country. So that's how I wanted to have something like that. The founding fathers helped to create this online virtual land. That's how I wanted to be like a connected with the NFT and the game itself, because at the end, these people, the founding fathers, gathered around, they supported it to build this online ecosystem where anyone can interact with the memes and something like that.
Is it still let us know, is it still available? Like, is it still available to mint, or is it minted out?
No, no, it's not a minute out. I think I had a collection of 800, and I think around 300 has been minted out. And it's not like I wanted to mint it out. It's my priority is not actually to get it minted out. So I'm just like working on the game and just doing it. And so I wanted to be like a more organic way, like let them see the game, let them play the game, and see how it went. I also have some interesting things working in the behind. I have like, so me as a person, I think I do a lot of experiments with me. So yesterday I had like a idea where I've seen ENS has some grants going on. Like other communities, they have some grants going on in their community, but I don't think the meme community has some grants. So that's why I thought maybe there should be something where there should be like a meme grants concept where people can let's say there's a prize pool and people can apply and just like vote on it, and it's kind of like bring building like a decentralized organization or something like that. It's just it's still an idea, so that's also an experiment. So so that's why I bought the domain like Beam Grants, and just thinking maybe I have to do something like maybe as I said, I've been able to develop a game, but someone else can do something else. And there are a lot, I think as Cobble said, there are people with a lot of talents in the industry, and I think if you're able to use the talent, we can bring a lot of interesting things to the industry itself, to the Web3 field.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Maybe we need to pitch that to Punk and see what he thinks. Scable, you
Yeah,
guys have
it's an
beers all the
awesome idea.
time, don't you?
Awesome idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the creature? What is he a turtle? What is he? I've put the link
That's
over in the chat.
that's a Pepe frog. Pepe is founding fathers, so that's why I wanted Pepe to be the founding fathers of meme side itself. So it's a meme game, right? So why not did
Yeah,
memes?
I love it.
So it's kind of like a
All right.
realistic Pepe, how a realistic Pepe would be as a founding father. That's all.
Yeah, he's very serious. Love it. Well, have you guys got any more questions for Neevan, Josh, or Scable before we wrap it up for today?
Nothing from me. This was awesome.
I just enjoy being educated because I don't know anything about this kind of stuff.
Oh, I just want to say the one thing here, like how I actually got into Web3. Maybe that would be helpful. Where the first time I traded some coins, and that's all. But the first real utility where I saw is that. So I live in India. So my freelancing clients are from US, Australia. They are from other worlds. So whenever they send money in PayPal, I think PayPal gets a cut. I think around 5 to 6% of the cut, and they also have like a the conversion charges, the local currency conversion. They also take some percentage. That's how I have been for the past 5, 6, 7 years. And once I think I did have a domain which it got sold, and they had an option of selling it in crypto. The transaction was in instant. Within the next 30 minutes I had the money in my bank account, and it's like the straight conversation freeze, and there isn't any delay in giving like when it comes in PayPal, it usually takes 2 to 3 days, and even if it's in weekends, it will extend for like to 5 days. But with crypto and with Web3, it was like instant transaction to me. That's when like I thought maybe okay, this is something which is like I had it saved me money. It saved me the instant transaction. That's when I got to learn more about Web3 and how it came, and that's why I think even the freedom to transact meme card is very resonating with me, because a lot of people talk about like ownership and stuff like that, because I think everyone should see how what do you say, the real utility. Me personally, I've seen the utility itself when it comes to crypto, but it's still Web3. But I think a lot of concepts of utility should be experienced by a lot of people so that they understand. I think with the AI coming in place, right now people need a verification. I think blockchain will be a part of the AI industry itself, because you it's easy to fake. I think I saw an article where someone created an AI photo which won the first prize or something like that, which seems like interesting and also crazy. Scobel, have you heard the news about it? Where I think it was like Sony's photographic contest or something like that, where the first prize was actually an AI art, like an AI prompt.
Yes, yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
So that's the like uh, that's when I like fully, when I came into Web3 itself.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the key, isn't it? When people actually experience the benefits instead of just sort of hearing the more degen stuff where people are making money, or the scams, that kind of stuff. When you actually realize the potential that blockchain has to allow people that freedom to transact and to have the speed and the access to funds, but also to be able to work with people internationally, and not have to, previously, how did you pay someone that you worked with who, for example, is in India? It was a very difficult proposition, and now you can just connect on Discord and be working with someone tomorrow who's on the other side of the world, and easily, exchange money and exchange goods. And I think that's pretty incredible when people actually realize.
Totally agree, because I've been freelancing for the past 7 8 years, and uh, always believed in remote work. And I think once COVID came, I think many people started believing in remote work. So I think unless and until some circumstances changes, I think there should be going further. I think we'll be seeing a lot of more remote work where. Even in my design, I used to compete in competitions. So I'll not be competing in a local level, like where I have to compete in my district, but I was competing designers from Germany, from France, US, Canada. So I was competing with designers from all over the world. So that's kind of like internet has actually helped me in widening my thought process, where you're like you're not just competing with the talent pool inside India, but you're also competing with the talent pool all around the world itself.
It gives you that global exposure and interaction.
Yeah, that also helped me in improving me as a designer itself. Let's say if I'm competing with someone in my hometown, I don't think I would be able to improve my standards or increase my level of design. Once I started going in a global stage, that's when my the rate of improvement was much more higher, I think so, personally.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, really, when you think about it and how quickly it's happened. 10 years ago, not a thing. 5 years ago, barely a thing, and now it's just sort of commonplace. Yeah, pretty great. All right, well, I think that's a wrap, folks. You guys got anything else to add?
No, I think this is awesome, Neevan. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing your process, and obviously, please keep us posted. You know, when you have that goes live, and we can reshare it and spread it out. As many people as we can. Um, Unfortunately, I think I screwed up the beginning part of the recording. That's the bad news. The good news is it started. I fixed it as soon as you started talking. So we have the most important part that we'll share out to anyone that wants to watch it, and nobody can ever hear my rambles and nonsense again. So it's a win-win, I think.
It'll be our little secret.
Yes, I agree. But no, that's great. Thanks so much, Stephen and Ellen, for setting this all up. If
Yeah.
there's nothing
Thank you,
else, I think
Neevan.
we can wrap it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that was
Scobel and
amazing.
Ellen.
Really cool to see all your stuff, Neevan. Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thanks for having me as well, Ellen and Scobel. It was nice talking to you guys.
Awesome.
All right, let's
Okay,
wrap it up.
we'll close her up.
See y'all. We'll
Thanks,
see
guys.
y'all in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Have a
See
good
ya.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.